So Tasos and Sissy are two of the editors of a book that's at the press right now. It's coming out in a few days from AK Press. We Are an Image from the Future, the Greek Revolts of December 2008. And because it's impossible to tell any kind of singular history of the insurrections in Greece, that book is based on interviews, especially with a wide variety of people from across the political spectrum and with a varying degree of different types of involvement in the insurrection there. Brian already said half the introduction that I usually do about the importance of not thinking that this is something to be taken out of its context. It's important to look at where this insurrection came from and then also where it's going, what's happening now, because it hasn't ended, even though it's often out of the news. But then the flip side of that is we don't want to present any idea of culture or history as though these are essential processes or uncontested processes. Culture is something that just exists within a set of boundaries and it is unchanging, because the state and the owners of society are constantly trying to re-engineer society, constantly trying to change culture in order to create a society that is less supportive of rebellion and more supportive of consumption. And we, on the other hand, it falls to us to fight, identify all those moves by the state and by capitalists to re-engineer our society and to push back to constantly recreate a society that is supportive of rebellions. So even though we're talking specifically about Greece, we're going to look at where that came from and how people over there have been able to create and constantly recreate broader social support and a culture that supports insurrections. That's kind of what we want to look at, especially, is to sort of de-essentialize culture and look at how insurrections can spread everywhere, out of their own contexts, out of their own histories, but not in a way that treats culture as something we have no opening creating, because we do every day with our inaction or our action. So I assume everyone knows at least a little bit that on the 6th of December 2008, police in Greece shot and killed a 15-year-old boy right in the heart of Exarchia, which is an autonomous neighborhood with strong links with the anarchists in the center of Athens, and that set off 3 weeks of intense rioting in which all of the banks and police stations in the country were attacked, smashed, and or burned. And that those social struggles continue to have a great deal of power and continue to do amazing things over there. Beyond that, to know really what's going to be most useful for y'all, I'd like to start off by asking questions and just shout it out, whether it's what you already know about the insurrection there or what questions you're left with, in terms of where this came from, how it was able to be as effective as it was, what are the drawbacks, just any questions that you all have about the Greek insurrection, just shout it out, and then at a certain point, Tasos and Sissy or I will step in and start to respond to those questions.
I was wondering about the autonomous zone, right? This kid was killed in the autonomous zone. How was that set up, structured, and could you just talk about that? Or how?
Exarchia. About Exarchia.
Keep coming, more questions.
You make some more questions, like to gather some of them for the beginning.
I have a question, please. How does the community around the autonomous zone respond to those who support it, presumably being destroyed or dismantled? There's people that live near there that are relying on the bank or the police or whatever. Do they feel like the people were correct to destroy those things in protest, or were they angry at that response?
Keep them coming.
What role does the guerrilla groups play in this? Right?
The guerrilla group. What role do the guerrilla groups play?
How is the fascist element kept out of those communities?
How did you get emergency health care to people in that community during those 3 weeks?
First of all, let's first this question. Exarchia means
It's outside of authority.
It's the official name of the neighborhood.
It's like we say anarchy, that is like without authority. Exarchia means outside of authority.
okay. Exarchia is a main square where almost all political spaces and political groups have a place there for their assemblies. Also, there are some squads nearby the square of Exarchia and one social center. Not only from anarchists, but also from autonomian people and also from leftist people. Also, there are all the underground clubs and underground pubs, because Exarchia is that gather all the underground cultures.
I mean, it really started in the end of 70s, because during the dictatorship, that was 1974, in a way, a little bit before the dictatorship, during the early 60s and after the dictatorship, it was another area, Plaka, nearby Acropolis, down from Acropolis. And like in the end of 70s, slowly, and especially like in 79, 80, 81, the government and the mayor of the city, they decided to close the underground bars and the concert places and the places for punk people, you know, that they was making the concerts and everything. But this forced the people to find another place to start to gather. So, like in the end of 70s, they started to gather in Exarchia Square. Exarchia Square is 5 minutes away from Omonia, the square of Athens. And it is like about 10 minutes walk from the parliament, and it is like maybe 15 minutes walk from the parliament, 10 minutes. And it is also like 5 minutes away from Polytechnic University, the central building of the Polytechnic University, that is architecture, mechanics, arts, School of Arts, and all these schools. But traditionally, like from the 60s and maybe from before also, it was the center of like organizing of political resistance. I mean, in a way, even during the Nazi period, like the Nazi conquering of Athens, Polytechnic University was a center of organizing of political resistance and of guerrilla groups and resistance groups. So, I mean, you have to understand that, I mean, this that we say autonomous zone in a way, it is like a part of our imaginary, okay? It is not like, we say that it is an autonomous zone. The government says that this is an avatar. We have this word from the ancient years, from the ancient temples, that it was a specific place that if he was someone, a killer or a thief or somebody, he could go there and grab this specific colon, and the people could not catch him to kill. It is like a place that the authority cannot touch. Okay. So the government feels that because of all this political power and because of all these riots and because of all this defense, the groups that they defend the area from the police existence, but not only from the police, because we protect the area also from mafia, okay, also from drugs, as much as possible, even though classically in the center of the square, junkies they gather, but most of them they are like more like anarcho-junkies, like anarcho-punk junkies, you know. But even that they are junkies, they try to protect the area from the big drug smugglers and from the big business, and also like many heroin addicts together, you know.
But we try to keep it clear from drug heroin dealers.
From the mafia, from the drug mafia, you know, from the big dealers. And so in this way, we can say that I mean it is a neighborhood. Many local people they stay like inhabitants of the area. That, okay, it is not like an area that the crazy people are staying there. You know, it's like a normal inhabitant area. But because it is in the center of the city and because it's nearby to the central square, there are also many clubs and bars and tavernas and restaurants, and there are also many typographers there, you know, like offset typography companies that they traditionally publish books, and a lot of publication companies, many like literature magazines they publish there. I mean, in a way, they are dreaming of the government. It is to turn this into a cultural center of Athens, you know. Like to be like cultural center, because they say, oh, it has a big tradition, a history of culture, and so many publications. All the publications there are like political publications, most of them. Okay, but there are also like some publications like literature and this kind of things, you know, publication companies. So it is many all these elements they come together there. The influence of the anarchists in this area from the beginning of the 80s, it is that they don't allow the police to take control of the area. This means that whenever the police try to have some presence inside the square, or to check the people, or to have powerful presence, the people attack to the police. Like, they gather in the night, late at night, they drink some beers, they take the bottles from the beers, put benzene inside, and they go and they throw them. Okay. So in a way, I mean,
but also some shop owners resist to the powerful presence of the police. So, for example, when the riot police make a march into the square of Exarchia, the people from a kiosk
Kiosks.
They go out and they say, why you are here? We don't want you here.
What you do? What is the problem?
And also the other business owners and restaurant owners, if they ever try to extend their ownership beyond their doors to the street or the walls outside, for example, trying to get people not to hang around without paying for things, not to put up posters, then they'll get a talking to, and if the talking to doesn't work, then maybe they'll get their windows smashed. So the business owners of the area have been well trained to know that their authority extends so far and no farther, and that they that it's not their neighborhood.
Yeah, it was like an educative process for them. It was like no, really, because they tried, like in the early 90s, they tried to make a serious rejuvenation. How you call it? Rejuvenation, yeah? Like gentrification. Gentrification. They tried very seriously, and they appeared like luxury bars and like nice cafes for like trendy people and hipster places, these kind of things. That the groups of the anarchists, they passed from these places for like first week, smash all the places, like with the sticks. Like the vitrines, taking all the chairs and everything, throw them on the streets, okay? And they say that this does not belong to the commercialization. Like you are not allowed to commercialize the square, the area of the square, okay?
That means to not commercialize it. That means that they will not still have clean vitrines, or to have a luxury door for their shop, but outside of their shop there will be, this is a wall for posters.
To stick posters.
Secondly, that means that everyone that comes inside this bar can stay there without drinking alcohol if he wants. It is not an obligation for someone to drink something.
Yes, and it is also like the owner of the bar, he will not, or the tavern or whatever, he will not feel like that because he has his business there, his business is the most important thing in the planet and he's gonna control all the atmosphere of the place, I mean that the people are gonna control the atmosphere of the place. It is like to change the mentality, like the bar women, they have to be gentle somehow, the people that they work, no securities, no fat people making like the macho problems, and control the area, like securities and all these kind of things, nothing like that. And in the beginning they didn't believe it, and then the anarchists, they passed again and they burned the place, like throwing a lot of inside the places with people inside. It was very crazy. Okay. Like nobody got hurt really, but from that time, then all the owners, they started to realize that Exarchia is very nice, everything very good, all the people very nice, very happy, everybody wants each other, good behavior and everybody very good. So slowly, after the middle of 90s, now many places from this anyway controlled by the anarchists. I mean the anarchists, they took over many, like old anarchists, like 50, 40 years old, they took the places, like they run the business now, and it's like collectives, groups of people. I mean, it's not like a social center, it's like a normal bar, like this bar that we are here now, but you know that 100% of people that they don't work for the police. It is like a 100% trustful place.
And you are sure that if there is a problem, they will have opened the doors
to hide the people.
Yes.
To hide people, to protect you, and all this. So we say that there are restaurants and bars that are controlled by anarchists. There are restaurants and bars that are controlled by commercial people, but that it is educated. Okay. There are existing some squads around, very important squads. Existing the Polytechnic University, that whatever happens, the people they gather to the Polytechnic University, huge building. That also they occupy the building every weekend to make free festivals and parties and concerts, DIY concerts from all the underground cultures. Okay, so thousands of people they come in the square, especially Friday and Saturday. Okay, and during the week, but many people they come from all around Athens, they gather there. So in a way, you distribute propaganda flyers or you put posters from the other neighborhoods of Athens. Whatever news or whatever new analysis or whatever new understanding, back to the neighborhoods with this knowledge. It is not need like to go and run to find all the people all around the neighborhoods, because the people anyway they gather in this area. And in a way, also for the trendy people, it is like the alternative area. It's like the different area, because we have another entertainment zone that it is like for commercial, trendy, high, rich, very cheesy place, that's easy place, that they go also the Muslim people, and we go also the Arabic propaganda too. So something like this about the Exarchia. The other question was about the smashings. About, you said, just if I understood well, but how is possible that people that rely anyway on banks and shops and commercial shops, and that they accept the elimination of it, no smashing like the way it is. Yeah. Θέλω να ξεκινήσεις εσύ. Ας ξεκινήσουμε και μετά θα πέσει λόγω σου. You know, the people, they hate the shops and they hate the banks. I mean,
they hate the big commercial shops, as for example, Zara, you have here also, okay? As,
Nike.
You have Zara
Nike.
here, I saw. Nike, yes, as
the big corporations.
The big corporations, you know, and everyone hates this because they understand that they are not simply people that they want to have this as their job, you know. And also everyone hates the banks because everyone has to pay their own loans and everyone
owes money to the bank. In a way, it owes their life to the bank. So the bank is not something good. Okay. And also, it's not something that the people will love.
So when a bank is burned, it is not a distraction of their white's life, but it's a distraction of a symbol of capitalism.
One of the interviews was with the mother of a longtime anarchist, and we asked her opinion about the riots, and she said, "Oh, it's very bad. It's very bad. All that violence is very bad." And we did things much more peacefully in the '60s, to which we kind of questioned, well, that's not really true. It wasn't that peaceful. The all movements in the '60s, and she said, "Oh, well, we were just attacking the police and the banks. You know, that's okay. But you shouldn't attack these small shops because during December there was a lot of media propaganda saying they're burning all of the small shops, and so that was something that had a lot less popularity. The idea, most of which wasn't even very true, that small shops were getting smashed." And even there was an interview with the owner of a luxury shop, and it wasn't a chain, it wasn't a major corporation, but it was in one of the most luxurious areas of Athens. And she was complaining about how the anarchists didn't go to the suburbs of Athens to smash like the big commercial super centers. That they only smashed the bougie shops in the center. So at that level there was controversy, but in terms of the banks that had overwhelming popular support.
Even the normal, even the right-wing people, they appreciated the smashing of the banks, and also the people in the countryside also, that they didn't have any experience like this, of any smashings in the cities or small towns and all this. When the young children, because the young children, they get very angry, and the young children now, and also, our generation also, I am 36, okay? My people also from my generation, we don't believe that we have any hope. That we have any possibility to have a life. There are no expectations anymore. And there are no, how to say this, illusionary expectations that, that I'm gonna work as much as possible, but anyway I'm gonna have some good house, my children gonna go to the university, and I'm gonna have 3 children, and they're gonna be happy in their life, and this life is gonna be good. I'm 37 years old, and I can say to you that I cannot make children. And many people of my generation in Greece, they cannot make children because they don't have the money to make children. They don't have money to rent a house. So in this way, all this generation doesn't have any more expectation for reward. How you say? It's like that. But you're gonna do this, and they're gonna give you a present, a fine. Reward. Yes. Like this fairy tale of reward is finished for us. So all these people, they participated in the smashing of the banks, and it was like infiltrated this feeling inside of all the society, because there is no expectation of reward. So what to expect from the luxury shop? What from the bank? What to expect anyway, from the government? Maybe from the state. Maybe some people, they still have some expectation. from this social health, public health, public education, to publicize, to make as more possible free things from the government.
And if the society doesn't understand that they don't have the time to wait for a reward, then we make them to understand with our try to communicate and explain to them that all these dreams that they had in their 30s and in their 20s, they cannot become real. That
the state makes a joke to them.
Yes.
It's a joke.
And
it's like
we try to
lie.
communicate this to the society so as to understand when our anger comes out to smash. So the society has to understand why all this smashing and looting is happening. And the society understands when you try to communicate with your meaning and your visions and your problems with it. And to communicate these problems, one thing is a huge counter-information. A huge counter-information that based on face-to-face dialogue, face-to-face spread of leaflets and communication, and of counter-information to put up posters in the walls. That is very easy in Greece.
But I mean, even to places like here that it's not easy to stick posters, I mean, it is the communiques, the flyers, because most of these people that you see here participating in the riots, in their lives, they make analysis of some problems. They make their own typography, offset typography, big, many thousands of communiques, and they go around in the squares, in their neighborhood, to their works, to their factories or wherever they work, like and to universities, and they spread their own opinion, their own analysis, that it helps the people to understand why, when it happens, the smashing, it takes place, the smashing, I mean, the smashing, it is just the end of a long political work that many people, they do, they don't separate themselves like there are different people, the smashers, different people, the political people. All the political work, everybody has to do. I mean, you cannot say yourself anarchist because you've been 2 times in your life in a demonstration and you feel once told, I mean, this you do also, or because you've been to some concert, and you drank some beers, okay? I mean, this you do also. But the work, it is that each one of us, I mean, you and me and everybody, and I mean, most of the Greek anarchists in a way, we have to take care personally, what is our opinion? And how we're going to express it, and how we're going to influence, how we're going to build our influence. I mean, or we, like all these people here, we are not like spectators of our own movement. We are the creators of our own movement, with our own practices and with our initiatives and with our work. Each one of us, it has to be like a focalizer, like an organizer. It has to be like an amateur intellectual. To have the ability to speak to the people, to agitate, to make propaganda, to write posters, to write flyers, to make blogs, like everything, all these things.
Yes.
And then we meet at the barricades.
And this that he says is like each one of us is nice to be a revolutionary commitment, to have a devotion to the primary cause that made her or him to be a revolutionary being. This does make sense. And that means that every time you participate not just in a riot, but you participate to construct a live examples of this another world that you have imagined. Because the point is all this that you imagine, all this that you want, all this that you feel that is unfair, to first of all to spread it in the rest of the society and say the rest of the society, oh yes, this is not fair. For example, most simple, okay, and after to understand that we want something else, but this something else has to be here and now with live examples. And this live that I say, it's for example, one flyer, to give it hand by hand, is something live. Because the other person, even the grandmother, takes it in her hand, maybe she will throw it away, okay? But she will take it, okay? First time she will take it, second time, third time, a fifth time she will read it to see what is it. And it's not that to have 30 flyers, but to have thousands of flyers, especially in Phoenix, you need
at least 15,000 flyers to start to think about it, just to make something, you know? For one thing, to say some blah. This blah, hello.
Yes, because you know.
Yes, because it is much more important than the internet, you know, because it is the body.
Yes, because sometimes all of us, okay, we are trapped in front of our screen of computer. We read our Rise Up net emails, you know. We go to this in the media. We see the freedom of press, all these, you know, health liberation fronting to prisoners. But it's something completely different to send an email and inform people, and something completely different to find unknown people and invite them to this event, for example, today. Or invite them to something that it is happening in the city.
Yeah, and it is this ability also like to produce your own opinion. I mean, to have opinion, to write it down, to have friends to make design together. I mean, it's a way people they meet each other, you know. This you do. What else you do? I mean, we meet and drinking beers. We drink beers and making something.
Because
okay?
of this happened. Because, you know, maybe you give 3,000, 4,000 flyers and no one will come, you know. But when something big happens, then all these people, or the half of them, or some of them, that they had the flyer they had, they will come. You know, because some people, they get bored of politics, you know. They don't like politics. They don't like assemblies, they don't like lectures, you know. But when they have been familiar for some months, for some years, for some days,
with our ideas,
then when a big thing happens, then they will come. Because they are not stupid. The people remain stupid when we are pathetic, and when we hide ourselves inside a book of anarchy, or in front of a computer screen, or inside our small community. Then the people remain stupid.
And also an important distinction needs to be made between how outreach typically happens in Greece and how outreach typically happens in the US. At least in my experience and what I've seen, it usually happens with this idea that you're trying to immediately convince people and win them over. Maybe this is also connected to an idea that you're trying to make the movement numerically grow. And that often leads to is people will often lie their own ideas or hide their own ideas because they know that people are going to reject them, that they won't immediately agree, that it's too bitter a pill to swallow, it's too complex, it's too radical or whatever, so they water it down or they dumb it down in order to present something that's common sense, lowest common denominator that everyone will agree with. But the point is not to make everyone agree, the point is to put those ideas out there. Because in the beginning, the vast majority of people will disagree, but if they keep confronting that idea, then they have to recognize that it exists. And that expands that expands the range of opinion that exists within their world. And that's one of the key ways, that's one of the greatest strengths of the U.S. ruling system. It's not even the guns and all the other weapons of the police. It's the fact that in this country, we have the narrowest range of acceptable opinion of any democratic country in the world. And then that's because the media here has been allowed to be so much more propagandistic and to engage so much more in brainwashing. So like Sissy said, it's not an issue that immediately they get the flyer and then they start coming to all of your events and your assemblies, but that this plants a seed. This challenges their construction of what constitutes a normal idea. This makes them respond and take a posture in definition to your ideas and not just in definition to the crap spewing off of Fox News and CNN and whatever else. and that plants a seed so that when there comes a point when all of the official lies that just barely cut it all the other days of their lives to help them ice over this cognitive dissonance, these contradictions and hypocrisies that people have to live with in order to survive in a capitalist system, the day that those usual routine lies don't cut it will be the day that the ideas that you've spread sprout, take bloom, and take on a whole lot more meaning. And because what happened in Greece is not that all of a sudden hundreds of thousands of young people and old people became anarchists, but that all of a sudden hundreds of thousands of old people and young people started adopting anarchist practices that they had seen and read about in all the years past. And these include open assemblies, these include attacks on the banks and the police stations. That's what generalized to a large extent across Greek society, even though these same people a month earlier were saying that this doesn't make sense to do this thing, that's no good, they weren't agreeing with it, but in the moment that they needed a tool beyond the usual stale democratic toolbox to express their rage and to fight back, the seeds that they had in their consciousness were these examples that the anarchists had made. And also to clarify on something that Tasos said that I know that could be misunderstood, but that we're both in agreement about, is that it's not a process of first you make the flyers and then you make the smashings once you have enough people. This isn't some Marxist ideology of revolution about an accumulation of forces and phases in a revolutionary struggle, that you do all of the activities that you can get away with in any moment, and those plant the seeds and then make that influence on the popular conception of reality. Even if in the given moment you won't be winning lots of new recruits, you will be changing the world that you live in.
Yeah, this is very important. Like that you do all these things in the same time, in the same period, in the same weeks, you know. And the only reason that I spoke about the creation of communiques, it is, you know, because you have to understand how much great power have to understand like we have to understand that small groups of people, they can produce a very high quality. They can find something, and you face, you know, you can understand by the heart and by the eyes of people, you know. You pass on the streets, you go around, and you see, and there are thousands of the possible comrades, you know. And also, this is the same way also with the actions, like all these smashings, the arson attacks, like the burnings, all these things, you know. Small groups of people they do, and for some period maybe these practices they can be unpopular. Like they are not popular, but when the people they really need it, they have them in the back, like they have them in their knowledge. It is how to say. It is a historical skill. It exists there as a possibility. So when the people they face an economical crisis, for example, or they face some police brutality in their neighborhood, or some assassination, some murder of somebody from the police, then all these practices they blossom. They make flower. Like they can remain there in the ground like a seed for many decades, you know. But as more visibility they achieve these practices, when it comes the moment when the society needs it. I mean, we will not enforce the society to revolt or to enforce our own ideology or ideas to the society. When the society will be ready and when the society needs this, they will arise.
I would like to just say something that after you said, to plant the seeds of thought, that means to take our unknown friends from lethargy. That means that they will not participate only in smashing or in a riot. Maybe they will not, but they will participate, but they will understand our vision. This is for me the most important. Is to understand and confront all the powers of the domination. For me, the most important with all these counter-information and counter-culture events. That the people, they will come in riot, but the most important is that they will understand all this schizophrenia of the capitalism. This is the most important for me.
Is there an alternative to the banks? Do you say smash the banks? Is there like an underground economy or resource-based or credit systems? And if not, then what is the expectation of the banks? And is there resistance to the euro? Because there's a Greek economy before.
It's an attack. I mean, the smashing of the banks, it is an attack against the banks. It is not it is not any idea to replace the banks with any kind of other economy, you know.
So no
It is, in a way, you can say, I mean, it is like, I mean, when you attack the banks to make the people understand that the banks, there are something corrupt. Or when, in a way, all the arson attacks goes. All they make just like example you see, like the people they see, and they say, you know, like, Ford is no good. Because the people they burn it.
Have you seen a documentary about Ford?
I mean,
That's amazing.
We'll
understand.
Like all the arson attacks, the small map in the or in the camp of places that the society has to take care of it, or have to think about it, or they produce more doubt about these places. They say why they attack to this place. This place, you know, most of the times it is hidden behind the vitrine of the luxury, or behind the vitrine of the status, or behind the vitrine of the authority. All these places.
Now, try to create the inquiry and the question to the society. Why to this building?
Why they attack to this building? Why they attack to this company? So in this way, I mean, with a long process of attacks and in many years, slowly, and especially if you go second time, third time, you know, like slowly the people, they start to realize that, oh, it's a problem. In the same way, you know, it happened also another technique, like, you know, we have some popular markets that every one time per week in this neighborhood, they come the agriculturals directly, without the intermedia, without the medium.
Farmers markets.
Yeah, farmers markets. And they make like farmers markets. And it is cheaper for the people to buy things from there than to go to the supermarket. Okay. There are some places, some of these markets, sometimes, you know, they started to exist groups in Athens and in other places, in other cities also, that they were searching what is this farmer market, that all the popular people, all the people they were going, you know, one time per week to buy things there, that there is nearby big supermarket. So they were going 40 people inside the supermarket masked, you know. They were going inside the supermarket that was nearby this farmer market, and there were so many thousands of people outside, you know, from the supermarket. They were going inside and they were saying to the people that they take the money, they would say, stay there, close the machine, the cashier, you know, close the cashier, it will not be any trouble, you will not have any problem, nobody will harm you, we will take the things that the people they need, and we will distribute for free the things to the people, and in 5 minutes, 3 minutes we will be away. Don't be panic. They were going inside, you know, and each person taking the trolley, not this that you move, you know, the other, the hand, because it's easier to carry, the basket. And in this way, what they were doing, they were choosing only the things that they are very much in need, the people, like not oil, rice, some things that it is specified in the basic needs of the people. To do not seem like that they went there inside to take fancy, luxury things, you know, whatever bullshit. You know, the things that the people are in basic need. And they were running outside of the supermarket, salute the cashiers, very good comrades. You know, the cashiers, they were laughing, very nice. They were going outside and they were distributing to the people. They were saying, people, here is the free food. And the people, they were coming to take the free food.
Especially the old people.
The old people, they were coming, you know, and they were like full musketeers, black people, distributing the things to the people. And the people, they were saying, good, thank you, you know. And after, the television were going, you know, and the police, they were going to these farming markets, and they were saying, what is your opinion about people that they come and they steal the supermarkets, you know?
If someone does something bad to these kids, they will have to do with me. No one has touched these kids.
These kids, very good people,
exactly,
they helped us very good, no problem, neither harm anybody, very nice people. And
exactly.
All the society freak out. Okay, the conservative newspaper freak out completely, okay. They had to, of course, to say this story, I mean, it's a big story, okay. And this happened again and again and again, and it was one of the ways that it was a different economy, because when December came, you know, this was general. Okay, everybody do whatever. And everything. Other economy, yes.
Really quick, I want to add to this also that in Hamburg and in Barcelona, which don't have these farmers markets out in the open, and they also don't have that culture that's that supportive of illegal acts like this. This tactic was also used, and 30 people going in, being fast, being disciplined, were able to get away with the same thing in circumstances much more similar to what we have in the States. The difference is that in Barcelona, for example, they had to have a team that was specifically there to control the security guards to allow this to go off without a hitch. But it was also possible in other completely different circumstances.
Yes. And another thing, speaking about the economy, okay? You want to say something?
The only thing that's a little different in my opinion, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But here we're surveillance 100% all the time.
Yeah, they have the cameras a lot in Barcelona.
Full cameras there.
No, they've got full cameras.
Full cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Masked up.
You must good from the beginning, and it's ninja practice.
I
You go
know
very
now-
fast,
I know now
very
mass doesn't-
tack with the
doesn't
moment. You know, everybody counting the moments. It's very. And just to say one thing, okay, about other economy, okay, also. Other economy also in a way, these are relations. I mean, in a way, it is all these social centers.
Before you start, this is important. Of course, this action maybe will not happen here, of course. But just we tell them as to multiply our imagination, you know, not something to do it here, of course. Just one reason that we tell it is to. The most important is to understand how the society accept this action. This is the most important, I think.
In Barcelona, when it happened, it wasn't so obviously people were like, yes, very, very good, but the food still somehow disappeared. You know, so evidently people didn't have a problem with it.
So anyway, the other thing that I would have to say about the economy is that like the other economy is also our relations. Okay, I mean when we help each other, it is another economy. When we gather in houses and we share food, it is another economy. The sharing, any kind of sharing, it is another economy. Also, like it's very important to understand in Greece that in all the different countryside towns or cities, you know. It is very important the public space. I mean to produce meeting places in areas that they are not commercial, like that you don't have to buy something to be there. The people, they gather outside in the streets, in the parks. They gather in crossroads, specific crossroads that you know that they are these places that are the place of the anarchists, you know. So in this way they achieve also visibility to their neighborhoods or to their towns. I mean, if you go in a town that you've never been again before in Greece, and you ask, you know, what is the cafeteria that the anarchists and the communists they go and say, this cafeteria. Where are the anarchists? There. These are the anarchists. Because, you know, all these that we said were for the communiques, and for the posters, and for the counter-information, and for the events, the cultural events, counter-cultural events, the free festival, the concerts. It is that the people, I mean, all these posters, all these flyers, it has to exist a face behind the flyer. It is the visibility. I mean, during the action or during the riot, during the demonstration, the people, they are masked, of course, but before and after, the people, they have a face. That's why, I mean, for many years, the media, they were calling the Greek anarchists the known unknowns. The known unknown means that everybody knows who they are, but we don't know who they are. Everybody knows them, but you don't know them. Because it is difficult, I mean, to catch in a moment. And also like to speak about the guerrilla that you asked, okay? Because in this,
I want to say one more thing about Vietnam. Also, after December, one of the major things that a lot of anarchist groups turned to was, because before December they really didn't have so much infrastructure beyond these traditions and these practices, but not so much in the way of actual physical infrastructure. So after December, a lot of anarchist groups turned their attention to this new power that they had to build more of that. Part of that was making more social centers. This one group of insurrected medical workers created a social center in which they're trying to make a health center where people can get free health care. So kind of like, you know, more sophisticated projects like that, and then also like parks and gardens, things of that nature. However, they also tend to be doing it cautiously because they very much want to avoid the trap that happened in Italy with the legalization and the recuperation and the taming of these turning autonomous spaces into simple alternatives, and also the trap of Barcelona, which was to bring the movement off the streets and to put it within closed structures, to lose its visibility, to become closed off.
Yeah, but also like all the free workshops that are happening, they're taking place in the social centers and the squads. And because in some area maybe you cannot make squads, you know, because maybe you know that the police or the local area attitude is gonna close the squad. So in some areas they make rent a building and they make it a social center, okay? But also, like, because it is much cheaper there, whatever you buy, if you buy something, it is much cheaper, and there are many things for free. And all the knowledge is the skills that we know, we share, you know? So in this way, it is in a way another economy. But when we attack to burn down. I mean, when we attack, we don't attack it because we have another vision to put in their place, you know. It is because we don't have a specific ideology to enforce to the people. We don't talk to the government to protect the role or something, you know. Isn't it? It don't say the society side they're gonna go, you know. Yeah, we have some examples. We hope our projects are going to be a example of it. But we say they are gonna have or we should buy and be raised on it. I mean, at least now and now, so many also you know, there is, I mean, we can say like a clarification, how to say, like, okay, a specification. I mean, according to the insurrectionary anarchist Greek log, but anyway, it is completely fragmented. Many people, they believe completely different things from each other. It does not exist in one specific solution for everything. You know, everybody believes different things, and that's why the police cannot infiltrate us, because it is somewhere fragmented in small groups. That how to infiltrate. I mean, you make company only with the friends that you trust 100%. You know them many years ago, and you trust each other. Okay, so there is a specification. This that we call guerrilla attack, it is happening in the darkness. It has to be secret. It has to be 100% trust. It has to be very protected, very closed, very to do not look like this kind of person, to do not have any visibility, to be unknown, to be secret. It is for this kind of people that they don't like the big crowds, and it is for this kind of periods that you don't have any social movement, that you don't have any visibility in the streets, or you have so much dictatorship or so much totalitarian system that the movement is completely weak, that you are in a weakness position. And it needs like safety, it needs special protection. It is like a small flower that you protect to go slowly to the future. Of course, this that we call the insurrectionary political activity in Greece, it is something that is happening in the light. I mean, it's something that it has a face. It goes outside. It is in the streets. It is in the public space. It is face to face. It is communication with the people. It is inviting. It is open. You know, inclusive. It is fully inclusive. It uses the practices that can be adapted by many thousands of people. The practices that they are like easy. You know, it is like something that doesn't need special skills or special knowledges or special character or special all these specializations that the guerrilla attack needs. Of course, this we don't say like to say that the guerrilla it is inferior to the insurrectionary political work. Okay, both of the things they are very welcome and very needed and connected. And of course, they are parallel things, and they can be very nice complementary with each other. I mean, they can help each other. These two processes, two political processes. But we have to say that for the insurrectionary logic, the guerrilla in a way has some leftism. That it has some avant-gardism. In a way, it is this special group that this group is going to decide what is going to take place. Because when it is a demonstration, for example, a big demonstration, who's going to decide when this demonstration is going to turn into a riot? The people, they decide by themselves. The initiative. It is the initiative of the masses, the initiative of the people. I mean, it is the common ground. It is like to find common ground to meet all these people. It is a process of invitation. It is invitational for inviting. It is not to send a message. It is not symbolic or not to send a message. it is life itself. So in a way, when yes, I mean, we cannot say that one is more useful or like to make it mechanistic logic, but it is two different things. Just this, that the insurrectionary political practice and guerrilla attack groups, it is two different things, complementary to each other. Welcome both of them one to each other in pure and perfect and complete solidarity one to each other, but it is two different things.
And to minimize this, to minimize the scale of guerrilla and take it to direct actions, because you use this term here, and to take the analysis that Tasos told, the direct, sometimes the direct action can happen in the darkness, as he said. The point is that don't trap ourselves only in direct actions. Because the direct action may have only as a result our imprisonment, you know? And when we are 50, then we will be just 10, you know, of us. And there's something more communicating. Because we should not forget that a direct action, it can be an insurrection moment, but also an insurrection moment is an attack. But an attack is not only a violent attack. Okay?
Like when you smash a bank.
Attack is all this that we say, the counter-information, the counter-culture. You know, attack is this moment here, you know. This is important.
Because I mean, all these practices, like I mean, from create a park, from making a dialogue with a grandmother, and to smash a bank, all these actions it is attack.
Because
you attack to the system, because you attack to the social mentality, you attack to the common sense, you attack to the normality, or you attack to the domination.
Yeah. And the point, and they are all complementing each other. But when something doesn't happen of them, doesn't mean that we are not winning, let's say, okay. This, because the trap in the direct action, or the trap only in counter-information and not in demos, for example, or in riots.
Or the trap only to organize demos, but yes, not turn them into riots.
Yeah.
All these different traps, you know, all these that exclude one each other, you know. They produce, it is their own trap. Each one of these practices can be a trap by itself, you know. Only when all these practices are complementary to each other.
When something doesn't happen, maybe sometimes we feel that, oh fuck, we are not so powerful.
We cannot make riots.
We cannot make riots now because we don't have people that smash the banks. We have problems, you know. So this is problematic.
This is misery.
This is misery. This is problematic.
Yeah.
Because the point is to get rid. The important thing is to get rid of the ignorance of our society and create most intelligent individuals so as to achieve social wealth.
Social meeting point.
Yes.
And also, like another thing that we say that, I mean, for the insurrectionary Greek logic, all this counter-information, all these events, all these festivals, all these concepts, all these free spaces, you know, the autonomous spaces, the public space meetings, you know, the demonstrations, all these things, it is the thing that we say that, I mean, it puts water in the bowl.
Water in the plant.
No, water in the bowl.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, imagine that you have a bowl, okay?
I got the other.
All these actions that they seem like non-violent, but they are not non-violent at all, because you enforce a logic that it is revolutionary. It is your insurrectionary logic. You publicize your insurrectionary logic, okay? It brings much more water in the bowl. This means that the angry fish can swim easier inside. The angry fish can swim easier, you know, if there is a lot of water in the bowl. And also, There is another thing, like that, like another example that we say that, the moment of the smashing or an arson attack or all these attacks, it is the sharp part of the knife. The sharp part of the knife. And the part of the knife that cuts. But with all the knife, all the other actions, it is the knife itself, the people, the demonstrations, the counter-information, the communication, the autonomous spaces, the public spaces, all these things, it is insurrectionary practices. Because you cannot have the sharp part of the knife without having the knife itself, but all this, it is the people. It is the movement, it is the activities of the people.
Yeah, the movement is the result when we multiply the receivers of our message. This is very important. Yes.
At what point did people, especially when the non-specialized militancy started to grow, did people start criticizing the response from the left? The left wing, I imagine, the political parties, and then, how do they orient, towards it now, as the anarchist movement?
What was the critique of the left towards the violent actions, you mean?
When the militant, struggle started happening from anarchists, from anti-authoritarians, and the left probably wasn't in agreement, what steps did the anarchists take in Greece? To separate themselves.
Yeah. This is a long process, okay? You have to understand that, according to the American society, our leftists, they are like communist monsters from the outer space that they come to kill our children. The leftists. Even the pink communists, like we call them, the European Social Forum communists from Greece. If you put them here, they look like Che Guevara. It's a different limit of violence. And the political violence, it has a long history in Greece, never ending. We never had non-violent movement or something, the only difference is that the leftists, they discriminate, like they say that it is not a proper moment of using the violence. But of course they accept the use of the violence. And also, they understood slowly, especially in a way after Seattle, like we say. Like after the appearance of the international black bloc movement or practices. They started to understand that when the demonstration is hijacked by the anarchists and is turned into riot, all the society is speaking about this demonstration. When the demonstration is just a soup of people going with placards around, nobody cares really. Nobody speaks about it. And then, because the anarchists, they didn't go to the media to speak politically about why happened all these things. All the media, they were inviting immediately the leftists to speak. Why happened this thing? What is the opinion of the left anyway, Because the media and the capitalism and the state was expecting from the leftists to say violence is no good, we don't accept this, all these things that they say. But the crowd itself, the people on the streets of the leftists, they knew that they have to break the pavement also together with us, that they have to do the thing. And slowly they realized that, this empowerment, the power. The leftists, they don't use Molotovs, and they don't make smashings of shops, but they make the confrontation with the police. They use the sticks, they use sticks. Or like if they have the chance to eat any policeman, they eat very nice. like if the policeman falls suddenly in the crowd of leftists, they eat him very nice. Yeah, very much. They have good appetite.
Me? Me?
Yeah.
Okay. But yes and no. During December, I don't know, your question was during the revolt of December.
What's that?
Your question was during the revolt or generally?
Generally.
Generally. Okay.
The general's separation.
Okay. Because during the revolt it was not only anarchists and autonomous people, because of this. Okay.
Yes, because during December participated many young people.
And also during the revolt the leftists were really hard. squatting, occupying,
Because I'm also aware that there are the attacks on the leftist offices, the political offices.
This
By fascists.
No, like the socialists. PASOK.
PASOK.
The ones in power.
PASOK is not left.
They're
PASOK
not socialists, they're in the center.
They are technocrats, bourgeois, fucked up. They arrested 17th of November.
Leftist is also Trotsky, Marx,
The ones who are in government.
Also even further.
They
than
make a
just saying
distinction between
socialist.
the ones who are in government, who you attack, and the ones who maybe will come out to the protests and be on your
The
side of the
parliamentary
barricades.
left.
Yeah. So I can give two specific examples. In the student struggles of 2006, 2007, when the university privatization law reform was passed, there were major riots in front of Syntagma, in front of the Greek parliament. And actually one of the ceremonial guardhouses of the tomb of the unknown soldier was burned to the ground. And so this was a big controversy, and in the media, all the leftists were denouncing this and saying, this was the act of 50 musketeers, this was the act of 50 provocateurs. And so immediately after that, a protest was organized of maybe 500 people or 1,000 people, saying, and like the main chant of that march was, "We are the 50 provocateurs." So very much to stand in solidarity with the more extreme tactics that the left was trying to demonize. Then in December, really the only political party that participated, like political party that was in parliament in any number, that participated was Syriza, the pink communists that Tasos mentioned, and they tried very much to sanitize what was going on. And so they participated, they launched peaceful protests, and they tried to create this image that this was a movement of students who were peaceful and maybe got a little bit carried away at times, but that's okay because they had a social conscience and good for them. And this was something that was manipulated by the anarchists and immigrants. And so they tried to use that to ride into power and win more votes at the polls. And
to win more votes from the young people, especially.
Yeah.
They tried,
And it failed. They didn't get a significantly greater number of votes in the elections subsequent to. So it's just this whole attempt to project an image of a peaceful legalistic student rebellion was really opposed, and it backfired for them, so they didn't do so well in the elections after that.
Yeah, I just I find it really frustrating because I'm like looking at these photos, and I think it's really amazing to see the people like fight against the government here. But it's like, do these police like shoot and kill people? I mean, I know like what had happened had like started the riots, how they shot and killed the 15-year-old. But here it's like if we were to like revolt against the police, they would just like they're like, oh well, you're attacking us, and they would like take their arms out and like shoot and kill all of us. Like
how many?
I don't know.
I don't think that in a demonstration have killed someone. They arrest people and they kill.
They killed not necessarily. I don't know about anarchists, but they kill people all the time.
In demonstrations.
That might be what.
In riots or in normal day-to-day policing. Anyways,
well,
okay.
There haven't been any riots. There aren't any riots here. Now I don't know.
Well,
maybe
she's
that's
saying
not
here
even
she means
together
Phoenix.
riot.
She means Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get directly to that question. November 17th, 1973, the military shot and killed maybe 40 or more protesters in Greece, and there was such a strong social reaction, and there continues to be a strong social reaction. In this memory, it's not forgotten the way we forget about Kent State and what was even the name of the other university a month after Kent State? Jackson State, thank you. But we don't keep that memory alive and present with us day to day, whereas in Greece, there was a huge social response because of that repression. That was a large part of the reason why the dictatorship fell, and every fucking year they have a major protest on that day to commemorate that.
At least 15,000 people.
And to remind everyone that cops are killers. Okay? So in December, part of the elite, the conservatives, they wanted to bring out the military to put down the riots. Okay? And then police were drawing guns, and some people were thinking it was possible someone else would get killed. They wanted to call down the military, but because it's basically a social conquest of the power of this response, that they haven't allowed the police to have social legitimacy in killing, because the states don't just rule by brute force. If states have to rule by brute force, then that just sucks for the economy, because you can't just have business as usual when there's constantly, people getting shot down in the streets. So not above all, but to a large extent, states rule for legitimacy. And in Greece, continuous social struggle has robbed that level of legitimacy from the state, has kept it a constant reminder that the police are killers, that the state is a violent, murderous entity. So it's dangerous for the state to use that level of repression again, to use that level of violence again. They kill immigrants on the borders, they kill in places where it's not seen, but if they kill in the public eye, there are huge fucking riots, and they have to pay for it in blood. So like I said, the conservatives wanted to bring the military into the streets in December. Soldiers, because it's not a volunteer army, soldiers started distributing letters saying, if you call standing in the streets, we're turning our guns over the people, and it's going to be a massacre of cops. So the wiser heads prevailed in December, and they decided let them burn some more things, because we cannot bring the military into the streets, or we're going to fucking lose.
Yeah. And also you have to understand.
Well, how do we get that going on over here?
Have protests to the greatest extent
but still
possible.
we could protest and we get all these people together, but then the media and everything says, oh, well, these people were attacking the police. They had the right to kill them. The police
Wait a second.
their lives were threatened.
In the media they say the same.
They say the same
I mean, in the way they say, you see here in these images, you see the people they attack, they use Molotov, they use benzines, they use stones, they use sticks. Why the police doesn't do anything? Why the police doesn't do anything? And of course the politicians, they come and they say to them, that we cannot produce circumstances of civil war in the society and to allow to the police to express all its brutality. I mean, even the politicians, they say, at the end, then, because you bring the society in a point that they have to decide, or they have to kill their children on the streets, or they're gonna be with us.
If one individual fear becomes a mass fear, this is not good at all. You say, if one individual fear can control, one individual's fear,
Personal fear.
yeah, or no, from one person, let's say, okay. One individual fear, how to explain? One individual fear, I tell it again, cannot be above of our willing to destroy the ruling class, of our willing to destroy the plutocracy, of our willing to make our dreams real. One fear cannot control our
Power of the
our
government.
power,
Power of all.
And if some people are afraid to participate in big riots, it is not need to participate in big riots, but it is not need to participate on the first line of a big riot, but you can be in the right place of the demonstration. It is not heated all the demonstration by the police. All this that you see here is all the front line.
Behind there are 15,000 people.
Me, I am scared sometimes, and I don't go in front, because of course I am scared of the tear gas. I'm scared of the fucking police that he will kill me, that he will not kill me, he will arrest me and kick me. Of course I am afraid, but I am more behind, and I give support to my comrades.
Psychological support. It is a psychological help.
Maybe
Medical,
behind, more
maybe.
behind, But when a demonstration is happening, when a big demonstration is happening, all the people have this power. And you know what? When I am afraid in this demonstration, there is one slogan that makes me more powerful. And this slogan is, our passion for freedom is more stronger than your prisons. You understand? Our passion for freedom is stronger than your bullet in your fucking gun. We will not be afraid. Of course, we will not victimize ourselves
going there and get
But
arrested.
peace! And after,
Or obeying,
the
And they yell these slogans at the top of their lungs, and they create a psychological atmosphere of full power. Like in the Greek demonstrations, they use slogans in a way that we do less often over here, just yelling full out, and just like the feeling of an entire crowd shouting against the police, cops, pigs, murderers, or the slogan that Sissy said, or these other slogans that they teach people learn it, and everyone knows, and they're rhythmic, they're battle cries, and that makes a big difference in making an entire crowd more unified, more able to.
Yes, when everybody sing together, when shout together, it's not like a circus, it's like a full shade, it's like, if now we are here, we make a small 2 minutes workshop, and we shout one slogan, you cannot imagine how much power this brings, like it's like we make this, like for example, we make this like cops, pigs, murderers, cops, pigs, but when you say like with all the like for me, and even if there are 300 people, imagine, okay, they come 300 people with helmets, sticks on their hands, in chains, and they shout all together one slogan, cops, pigs, murderers. Then the pigs, when they are on the other side, they say, fuck, this is serious, this is not circus anymore. Okay, they didn't came.
None of this 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like full shade, like full, all the passion from inside, And of course the sticks and the helmets,
I
okay?
would like to ask you something. But I would like to ask you something. To you. Because I think you told that we have done this. Did the cops here, except that you told me before, have killed people in a demo?
During demonstration.
No.
Like shooting. They have the guns like
there's cops, I'm thinking like when I think cops kill people, I mean like Oscar Grant, or I'm thinking, a lot of other Mario Madrigal, who we knew the family of. This wasn't necessarily in a demonstration because they're not going to kill somebody because they know they're being videotaped by hundreds of people.
Exactly.
But people did attack the police station when Mario died.
Yes.
That did happen.
Yeah.
That happened in Mesa. And
we protested in front of it.
attacked with grapefruit. Yeah.
I heard so much Greek attack. I'm like,
No. That's not oranges. Oranges were one of the major weapons. Oranges were one of the major weapons in December. Because it's a symbol of attack.
And as you're saying,
In December in Greece, they have oranges, like these wild oranges all over the streets, and like this, like the high school kids were picking up baskets full of oranges and throwing oranges, and it's humiliating to have rotten fruit.
Garbage is also.
It's not going to send you to the hospital, but you don't make the revolution by sending X number of cops to the hospital. It symbolizes a hatred, and it symbolizes that you have no legitimacy in the eyes of the people. So there's nothing wrong with grapefruit. Grapefruit's fucking great.
Well, they chopped down the tree when we went back the next time.
Okay, that's fucked up.
But take for example, the G20s in Pittsburgh. I was there. Overwhelming force by riot cops. I'm talking about thousands of riot cops brought in from out of the city. People who didn't even have any ties to the city. Cops basically hired him from like New York cops,
Phoenix,
everywhere. Every cops came from all over the country. They were using grenade launchers and tear gas grenades. I have a friend of a friend was killed by one of these. Not in Pittsburgh, but these grenade launchers with a grenade launcher. They're fast. It might just be pepper spray, but they hit you in the head, it's going to crack your skull open. They had LRADs. How do you use of LRADs? These sonic cannons. Okay, I saw people with blood coming out of both ears. I don't know if you guys have dealt with LRADs, but these things we're going to be seeing more. I guarantee you. They were used very heavily. They're developed for use in Baghdad and Fallujah. They're being used on the streets now. I haven't seen them yet in Phoenix. I'm waiting for it. I do feel like there is a cultural distinction here where there's more readiness to use force here. From the police, that's what I'm saying. Like the police, they're using military tactics, they're using military weapons. And I'm looking at the photos, and I don't see the types of weapons and riot gear and technology on your cops in these
Very
photos.
good technology. They are like Robocops like everywhere, you know.
No, that does not
They
look
have
like
guns.
cops.
They have guns.
Don't try to make dialogue because
Well,
it
if
will
they
not
have
be.
guns and it
Let's
doesn't
try
matter what
to
type of
be.
technology.
Your question. Where is your question? I mean, what is your thesis? Your opinion?
I think my thesis is that I think our cops here are more ready and more willing to start
Yes, just to finish.
using these tactics. And doesn't mean the tactics are wrong, doesn't mean right. I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying that like there needs to be an awareness of this.
Okay. You say, and I answer. Can you speak a little bit louder?
Oh, if I get arrested, I'll never do a job. I've been arrested 3 times and it has not changed my life. You know, like it's worked out okay. I feel like people are like, no, I can't even go to that protest. Or I can't listen. It's kind of like, I don't know, they just have like these ideas that like, you know, when they're getting hired for one sort of job or for like getting a stable job or whatever, and then there's just like, they were like bred to like,
Speak a little bit louder.
they were just like hearing things that are non-existent, you know, that are, I don't know, you don't have to worry about them too much. But you don't get scared about serious consequences that maybe aren't even there.
Really quick, I want to say something directly to what you said. They don't have the LRADs there. They do use a type of tear gas that is only used in Israel and then was used there and nowhere else. The cops here don't have. But anything that's more obvious repressive technology reminds people of the dictatorship, not because of some inherent genetic or climactic difference between the US and Greece, but because anarchists and other radicals there have never let the society forget about that. And so to use those things that they get away with here would bring more people into the streets. And so what we're arguing is not that you can do the same things that you're seeing in these pictures here and you'll win. What we're saying is that the police are not as able to use the level of violence that they use here, not because of any unchangeable reason, but because of a social conquest, because of what the social struggles there have won, and because we could win a similar thing here, but so far we haven't, because people, all of us anarchists and especially political gun active people, allow the police to get away with it.
Peter, I want to ask you another thing also. One moment. How many people was in Pittsburgh? How many anarchists there was in Pittsburgh? How many? How many thousands?
There was a lot. 400.
How many? Because you know, in Athens, when only in Athens, when the anarchists they do demonstration, there are about 5,000 people. Only in Athens, the Athenian anarchists. That means that also the police, there are 5,000 people, but a crowd of 5,000 black darkness of the universe anarchists, you know, this kind of thing, like, how to say that they don't, I mean, in the personal scale, everybody afraid, okay, but the political power, the political existence, political life, and also the power of the crowd doesn't afraid. Like every moment existing, this person, that specific moment doesn't afraid anymore. You understand? I mean, it is the building of the political power. And also, I have to speak a little bit because she said, you know, like about the political power. That is very important to understand that all these practices of generalize your ideas, to publicize your ideas, all these practices to organize demonstration, political demonstration, not riots, and not to turn your political demonstration into fight with the police. Of course, you organize like with helmets and stones and sticks. If the police attack to your demonstration, to have at least some dignity, to do not like seem that you are a crowd that the police can do whatever with it, you know. But the anarchists, they organize political demonstrations. That it is organized from the beginning that this will not turn into riot, that it will not be problems. And if the police tries to come close, we attack to the police. But the police, year after month, because these demonstrations are taking place in Athens almost every month, taking place one demonstration like this, for many different reasons. So in this way, you educate the police of your city. I mean, the first time maybe they're gonna massacre, they're gonna attack to kill the people, I don't know, to smash the people, to kill them, or whatever. But it is a political work to educate also the police of your town, to achieve some power, some political power, and to exist. And so I will spend just 5 minutes with you to explain how, according to the Greek insurrectionary logic, it is the building of the political power, okay? One of the main strategies. That it is how you organize political struggle, okay? So, the reason that I'm going to speak this, it is mainly for the people here to take a picture, to take an idea about how important for the Greek insurrectionary logic it is the existence of the small group. Because in Greece we don't like each other. The anarchists, they don't like each other. Each one group doesn't like the other groups, Full solidarity, full all together, but I work with my own people. And the people that I know, the people that I trust, and the people that I like to be with them. It is not like a general platform, everybody anarchist, everybody come together. You work with your people. So, the small group of 5 people, 6 people, friends that they trust each other, they know each other good and they can communicate good, they meet. And they decide that the important subject of their struggle, it is this exactly thing that they decide. Maybe it is local struggle, maybe it is university struggle, maybe it is neighborhood struggle, maybe it is from the city or from the global economy or from general subject, bigger scale subject. The group decide what is the important thing for this time, what it is the important. But they want to take care, to organize on this, to mobilize. They spend like 1 week of meetings, many hours, beers and revolution condition, and they speak and they analyze roughly. They make a first analysis about this specific problem, what they really believe as a first rough analysis about this specific problem. And then they take this page of the first rough analysis and they announce it to the media, or to their own blog and to the media, or to all the other sites that the movement has, as an invitation for an open public assembly. In the same moment, of course, they distribute the thousands of the flyers for the invitation of the open public assembly with the alpha circle A, and a specific place, hour and date of the meeting, of the assembly. And they say anarchists, anti-authoritarians, autonomists, or just anarchists, or just the alpha. This is important because they do for two reasons. They go also, they stick in all the universities and the areas and the bars, like this kind of places, for example, like this kind of place, or the schools, or the place that the people they hang around. They post posters, they put posters that they say open public assembly for this specific thing. Just the one paragraph of what we believe about this problem, alpha down. The alpha down clarifies that if other kind of people coming, they don't come. Like no welcome for like other whatever. But they publicize this very much, like with flyers, communiques, posters, the invitation of the assembly, for two reasons. First, they go and they find the comrades, they find all the groups, the other anarchist groups, the comrades, the people that they are interested, and also all the radicals, the people that they can take care of some fight and they can also participate in demonstration, all the people that they have some critical mind. And also they publicize to the society. They say that the anarchist movement speaking about this specific problem. Publicize the problem. They don't publicize the invitation for the assembly to the society. In reality, they publicize the problem itself. They say, this problem exists, and the anarchists, they believe like this. And then it's happening in the General Assembly. The General Assembly, it is taking place from all these people that they come to this meeting. Each person or each group share his own perception with the other people, with all the other people. They don't make dialogue to themselves. They just meet in a very serious, very focused, very concentrated atmosphere. So, the General Assembly of the Anarchists, it is like a moment of very, very serious focus. It is very silent, and they don't do dialogue to each other. This means that we don't debate our ideas. We don't agree to each other. You have different ideas. We have different idea like group, but we come up. We say our perception. We share our analysis with the other people. We say we believe like that. The other group comes and they say we believe like that for this. It is like the truth. It is in the end, and it is like in an empty space. Each group puts his own idea, his own perception. Each person also puts his own perception. When this process finishes, that it takes at least 5 hours, 4 hours of talking, at least, what's happening? All the people, they take back all these ideas, they take back all these understandings, and they go back to their small group, and they organize their own analysis again. Usually, this General Assembly uses two strategies, two classical techniques that the anarchists they use in Greece: the demonstration, the megaphone, or the counter-information. This means that we agree that this is an important subject, and we're gonna do assembly for organizing demonstration. We organize demonstration, or we organize megaphone, or we organize counter-information. But all this, it is not like a general truth. We make all together one poster or one announcement, and we say everybody here inside this room, we believe this one thing. It is exactly the opposite. Each group going back to his collective, organize the analysis, publish 20,000 posters with his own, 3,000 posters and 20,000 flyers with his own analysis, and distribute to the city. This is the moment of the opening to the society. It is the time that each group, 5 people group, everybody working anyway, they put like 30 euro, 40 euro each other, and they make their own communiques. In this way, the small group of the people, they feel the power of their existence, because they have also the power of all the movement, but also the power of their own separate existence, their own analysis. It is influential to the society. So suddenly, if here inside we are now 10 different groups, and in the next 1 month we produce 5,000 flyers each group, it is 50,000 flyers in the society around, giving hand to hand. It is quite a good number, okay? And the only thing that we need, it is the date, the hour, and the point of the demonstration, or of the megaphone, that we come with the megaphone, the banners, each group continue to distribute his own communiques, and they say to the society, this problem is like that, like that, like that, like that. I mean, when you do this work, and you spend 1 month, all the possible anarchist groups, or the people, to distribute all this propaganda for invitation, for this demonstration in their own town, and then when they come in the street, this specific date, first, all the city knows that this will take place. And also, they have built a political power, a political existence. This is a political power. Then the police cannot come and kick these people whatever and do whatever, because it is different thing when you send 100 emails for a demonstration and you upload it to your Facebook, and different thing when you distributed 50,000 communiques in your city for the announcement of your demonstration. When you come in the streets, then of course you come with helmets, with chains, powerful slogan all together, like the police to feel the fear that, okay, I mean, it's not like circus, we go and we say, yes, and that, and the people, they're going to obey to us, okay? And, of course, then, according to the circumstances, happening what is happening. This is the building of the political power, according to the insurrectionary laws.
These pictures are selected pictures of moments of win. We could select pictures
of police brutality.
But we have not selected these pictures because we want to empower our enthusiasts. If we were ready to make a presentation for the movement of the United States, we will select pictures of win and not pictures of brutality that they will show the brutality of the police.
We don't popularize the police brutality pictures.
If, for example, we were ready to make a presentation for the United States, let's say, for the movement of the United States, we will select pictures of people shouting to the police, of
throwing things, having the power, the power.
And not selecting the pictures of
hundreds of pictures of police brutality, like Pittsburgh,
We will not show this.
Every day we have in Greece, like Pittsburgh,
we have
people, police kicking the people.
Many arrests.
But we don't reproduce this fear.
This about the pictures
and we don't build identity on this thing, that we are these ones that we've been beaten by the police. Of course we are these ones. And this is our winning, this is our power.
There are thousands of pictures like this, but also there are thousands of pictures that you should say, fuck, I will never want to go there, because the police kick also at us, If the police want to fuck us, they can do it. And they have done it. They have done it. Right now, there are many arrested people in Greece, but we don't allow them. We don't want to allow them. Your question.
It's different kind of politics.
Of course, we have traveled over the Atlantic Sea to come here and to meet you. Of course, we have cultural differences, Of course. But one important thing is also when there is so many police, you don't need to do something.
Okay, I mean in
Pittsburgh, if I go to Pittsburgh, because I have so many videos, I will go away. I will not be there. For example.
I mean, it is not like a heroic martyr. It is not like this, It is when we have the capabilities, we have the critical mass, we have the powers, we are well organized, we have the things. I mean, the people, they say, we have the things, let's go. If we don't have the things, we don't do. What to confront? Then you do political. But it is important. I mean, if you have the thousands of the people, you say to me, I say, how many anarchists was in Pittsburgh? And you say to me, I don't know. I mean, how many there was? There was 3,000 of them. I mean, Greece, it is 10 million people, and we gather on Athens, it is 4 million people city, and we gather like 5,000 people. I mean, it's this publicity. It needs very much publicity, and publicity with enthusiasm, like publicity of the moments, of your historical moments, of the moments of the American history, that it is enthusiastic and it is winning moments, Because for us, American history has many moments that it belongs to our imaginary. I mean, it belongs to our moments of enthusiasm, The 1st of May of Chicago, the 1st of May of Chicago, for us it is like a part of our own DNA, we have it in our blood, and the American society doesn't even know that this happened, We celebrate, like there come thousands and thousands of people in the 1st of May in Greece to celebrate this insurrection of 1st of May in America, in Chicago, All this, I mean, I say that it is not that the American tradition, the American movements of all this 20th century, they have like amazing moments of winning, Why to reproduce the brutality, the police brutality, or the moments that we were down and the police were kicking us on the head,
Okay. Thank you too. But it's this that when we focus on the brutality of the police, we don't focus on the brutality of the police to be an obstacle for us, but we focus on the brutality of the police to find new ways to exist. Because here in the United States, there are amazing projects that we don't have them in Greece. And one thing is to multiply this existence of this project, to popularize, to make it public. But don't make it public one time per year, make it public day by day. This is our bet.
Or in a way that it looks good. It is because it has to be like for us in a way. We believe that it is not. It has not to look good, to look like to look sympathetic. It has to be aggressive towards the society also. I mean, all the society it's a bunch of slaves, and we are this kind of slaves also here. I mean, we are slaves also. I mean, we have to have self-criticism, and we have to criticize our conditions of life and the conditions of our society. So this means that we don't want at all to be sympathetic. We want to be critical, you know, and we want to invite all the people that they are critical also.
But also we find moments that we are sympathetic.
Yeah. Like the creation of the park, for example.
Yes, for example, where was this area that we met you?
What's that?
Conspire Cafe.
Oh, Conspire, yeah.
Yes. It's so beautiful area for us, you know. We really like it. You can do so many unbelievable things there. It was amazing. It was amazing. I don't know if some people are there. That you put this air, this thing, the balloon, that goes, you know, amazing. But for example,
The free market, you know.
imagine now if you had made this as a public event in Munich, to go in the center of Phoenix, share flowers, go to the university, share flowers, flyers, sorry.
Not flowers.
Share flyers about this thing, that it was an initiative thing, yeah, you know, but the thing is that all our initiative things, we make them, we exaggerate them, and we make them moments of the movement. For example, if today, I wake up today and I just want to play, you know, a dubstep step in this
Square.
In this square. Okay, it will not be just my personal moment for my friends. It will be for everyone, and I'm going to call everyone to this dubstep event.
8,000 flyers.
8,000 flyers for a dubstep event.
Sissy, Tasos, you gotta say how. Tell us about those gatherings you throw, man. I want to hear about it.
What, please?
About the gathering.
The Void Network.
Okay.
I didn't raise the I mean, I want to. This is like completely anarchist. I don't want to say much. I want them to say it, but like it's so inspiring.
The both of us, we are from a collective Void network.
How to say? Like
I wish you had pictures, by the way.
Yes, yes, we didn't have.
It is because it is the like for the memory of Alex. That's why it's not celebrated. It is like Void Network is a parallel movement to the anarchist movement in a way that it's like it's much more open to many kind of thousands of people, all kinds of people inviting. It's a gathering, it's a social gathering. Okay, the idea is that. We don't identify ourselves. I mean, it's like it is a company of friends. It is like about 20 people that they make assembly like every 3 months to rearrange their own commitment, and they meet every day almost because they are friends. It is a company of friends. It's an affinity group, but they invest in friendship. Like they say, friendship is revolutionary. And in this way, like the thing that we do it is that we try to be creative. Like whatever creativity, knowledge, the skills, what we know to do. You know, we meet on the creativity, we meet on the stage. You know? I mean, what is the thing that you do? What is the best thing that you do? You speak good, you come to speak. You make music, you come to play music. You know, what? I mean, we don't meet just to meet. We meet on the creative scale, you know? On the action, what you do, what you want to do anyway. I mean, what you want to learn to do. You come and you say that I'm not so very good yet, but I'm gonna be much better. So in the process you become very good. So the gatherings that we do, it is that we occupy university areas and we enforce the president to accept that the university is public and it has some work to do in the society, and this work it is to allow the initiatives inside the university from the students and from the people that the university is a public space. It is like a square. And so we have to make the president understand that or you're gonna show respect, or we're gonna okay. And also we do like in the same way, the same strategy. It is also with the mayor of the city, like to the parks or to the hills or to places that we like, the beautiful places of the city. Okay. Also minimum, like more smaller events, also in social centers, also in the schools, also in different social centers of the city, also to some theater or some cinema, you know, like that we go and we say to the owner that today no business, like no money, but very good high quality. And she likes. Because why do you not like? And anyway, in a way, yes. I mean, the smaller thing it is like this. You know, I'm not talking to 12,000 people. It's like we make also like rave parties. It is very important for us. Like we make very big rave parties. And we make very huge screens, 6 meters to 6 meters, that we show propaganda, multimedia propaganda. And also like the flyers that we do, in the front it has the event, that is, we try to be as best designed, high quality design, very nice, well made, you know. And in the back side, and it says who plays the music, who, like some picture or whatever, the date, the place, but behind we put manifesto. So in the way we distribute 15,000 flyers in the city, it is not only the advertisement of the event, it is, as we do it anyway, it is like
this, right?
yeah, like this, but it's like not bigger, but bigger. Yeah, bigger, yeah. So anyway, we give around this thing, you know, we speak also to the people, but the people, they realize that it's not it's just an event, it has some beliefs behind it. It is not just a party, you know, and because it is occupation of the public space, and because it has all this, that nobody gets paid, the artists, they don't get paid, the advertisement doesn't get paid, the people that organize the party doesn't get paid, nobody gets paid, you know, and if remain any money as a profit, because we sell beer, okay, we sell beer, gin, whiskey, and vodka, okay, and we make the people because it is this the ecstatic enthusiasm. And so in this way we try to gather all the people that they are, like, how to say, they are not yet political, they don't participate yet in the demonstration, they don't come here to they find maybe the assembly boring, okay, but in these festivals they get the political, how to say, the political inspiration through the relations. The relation itself, the meeting, the gathering itself.
Because the relation has created in a place of self-realization, in a place of total freedom, in a place of an ecstatic experience.
Nobody has, there are no securities, there are no business, nobody making bullshit to them. They know year after year that the people that organize this thing, they don't make it for getting money, but to expand their ideas and to make it influence the society. It is like a movement, it's like cultural and social movement. So the people, they identify the Void Network events with highest quality of fun. I mean, it's like the best possible festival that you can go if it's night to night. And also with different kind of relation during the event among the people. The people, they speak each other about different things, they care differently on each other. It is like a preparation for demonstration, like to demo. It is like a preparation. It's a common secret, like a whispering of all the different ideas that they speak each other by themselves, you know. And also, how to say, maybe it is like an entrance, like a welcome center for all kinds of different people.
Welcome center to the political space of Exarchia.
It's like before you get political, in a way.
And also accept the race, the Void Network makes lectures, for example, with people from the university.
We invite teachers from the university to come and speak. And we put them like this, and we play ambient, you know, the teacher, the old man speaks, you know, and it's like full multimedia and ambient music, DJ play.
Yeah.
And the people, they like, you know, because that's the fucking boring lecture of and the lecturer likes also, you know, because he never spoke in this kind of atmosphere, okay, it's like this, or to make poetry shows. And another important thing is that we don't identify ourselves through any specific urban trend, even though we help all these urban trends to express themselves in the highest quality. This means that, I mean, when we invite the drum and bass crews of the town, it is the best quality drum and bass party. I mean, it's the best musicians, the best people. Because okay, the drum and bass crew, when they make by themselves, they gather 300 people, 400 people. Okay, when they come with us, they gather 4,000 people. Okay, because we distribute all this and we make all this publicity, and it is 20 years now. You know, I mean, this year Void Network is 20 years collective. Okay, so everybody knows. But the important thing is that first we offer cultural space of expression to the specific trend to show themselves, like to express their style. It is not a mash-up, like we play one song Madonna, one song heavy metal, one song pop or whatever. This night it is drum and bass. All the city knows that tonight it will be the best drum and bass party that you ever been in your life. So this means, So this means that everybody coming, even though that they don't like drum and bass, they go there because this is the night. Okay, the next week or next after 15 days, maybe we make trance party. Psychedelic trance party or techno party. We invite all the techno DJs of the town and we make techno party. Same label, like the Void Network people, the same community. So in this way, the city doesn't know us as a techno style crew or like psychedelic trancers or like techno whatever or drum and bass. It is a political work, it is like a social cultural work, social cultural activism, you know. It has to do a lot with ideas, spreading around manifestos, free distribution of manifestos, you know. And when it happens in the time of the arts, it is full respect to the artists, for free, of course, we don't get paid, you know. But it is like the best circumstances, high quality, because nobody gets paid, all the money goes to the production. So we have more people than capitalism, higher quality than capitalism. Capitalism cannot gather more people than us, so we control the culture of the city. And all the capitalists, they show respect to the crews, and after they show respect also to the artists. Because of course we don't say to the artists to do not go and play in the commercial places after if they want, you know. So the artists, they play free for the underground movement, and when they have to play in a club, they make some small ticket or they take money, they get paid, okay. But when they play for the underground movement, and Void Network, it is not, of course it's not the only group that organizes this kind of things, you know. Many groups they organize this kind of things, and it's very important influence into the gathering of the thousands. How you turn, you know, the hundreds into thousands. It is this process. And for solidarity causes, of course, to gather thousands and thousands of euros for the prisoners.
And also, like, who makes this night together with there and together with Violence Club or Council?
What was that?
Phoenix.
I think I heard our name.
Like also Void Network makes this event
Like
here.
similar to that.
Yeah, together with Peter and with Phoenix Club or Council.
Yeah. And every time that I've done a talk on this tour, it's not specifically about Greece, but like about one of the books or something, they've insisted on doing their visuals and the projection.
Yeah, because
I can't even say no.
Yes, because she makes some very nice lectures about democracy or about ecology, and we say, come on, we have the show of the ecology, we have the show for soul. Say, no, maybe we have the lights open, you know. Oh, no, we have to because to make it interesting, you know, like the young people get feeling boring of the lectures. Yeah, the lectures, it's boring.
It's another element. It's another element.
Yes, yeah. It's inspirational.
Culture, music maybe a little bit we could hear in the background, but we could have like asked to make the old music, you know what I mean? Like, every element.
I want to tell a story quick about. Is that handsome?
No, keep going.
Okay. I want to tell a story quick about the occupied park of Exarchia. This really shows what some of the results of the fighting in December was in terms of further empowering the social struggles. There was basically an abandoned lot, just half a block away from the spot where Alexis Guerrilla got killed by police. And it was a long time ago. The city was supposed to make it a park, and they failed to make it a park. They wanted it to be a parking lot instead. And one day, and actually they just had the 1-year anniversary of their existence as a park. The Assembly of Exarchia, which started previously in the run-up the resistance to the Olympic Games against the gentrification in the neighborhood, started with anarchist involvement to try to stop the gentrification of Exarchia for the Olympics, and this was an assembly, a neighborhood assembly that was still going. They met and they decided, well, fuck, we've been waiting for 15 years, was it, for a park, and they still haven't given us a park, so we're going to give ourselves a park. So they tore down the wall around this place. They came 1,000 people with jackhammers one day. They tore up the asphalt. They had ordered trees. They brought in trees. They planted trees. They started in the morning, and by the afternoon they had a park. When for 15 years the city was saying, there's not enough money, we can't do this, we don't know how.
It's very complicated, the specific area is problematic.
So 1,000 people came, the police couldn't stop them because there was too many people, it was all sorts of people, young and old, and one day they made themselves a park, and they didn't stop there, they continued to work at it, they made it extremely beautiful, they put in mosaic tile walkways and made their own benches, they made a playground area for children, making their own bricks, they learned how to make their own freaking bricks, and so they made this little, spiral thing for kids to climb around in with their own bricks and, graffiti murals, and they had meetings there, public meetings. They had documentary film showings, for example, about a similar occupied park in Barcelona, and meetings for when this one prisoner activist got killed in the women's prisons, and so they made a meeting there about solidarity and about how in other women's prisons there were uprisings and support for her. All these different things, and it was really amazing because you could see. Even a week later, people who were clearly lifetime residents, they would be walking by, older folks, they'd be walking by and they'd come to the park, and all of a sudden they'd look up and they'd start looking at the street signs, right? Because they become lost in their own neighborhood. This is the level to which it had been transformed. And this is another autonomous area. I mean, you have the Polytechnic University, which has asylum. The police can't go in, and that's not because it's written in the law. That's because people fight for it and defend it, because they've already retracted that law, but they still can't enforce it because people fight back if the police go into it. And then they've occupied the space where Alexis got killed. They changed the street name. They decided this will no longer be your name. Okay. They said they changed the name of the street and they put up a really beautiful plaque, and now it's called the Street of Alexis Grigoropoulos, and so they've reclaimed that space, and then one block down, they reclaimed the space of the park, so that the handful of times, which can probably be counted on one hand, since December 2008, that police have entered this zone, they've had to enter it in force, and so, for example, one time they were going a big group of people who knew Delta Force, the new rapid response police unit that was created after December to make targeted arrests of anarchists. That's the purpose of this police unit. One time they went in there at night, a whole bunch of them trying to arrest people, and they came into the park, and they were shouting to all the neighbors, "We're in the park, this is your fucking park," acting like hooligans, knocking over benches and stuff, making it obvious how abnormal this experience was, because normally they couldn't do that. Normally this park was off limits to them. And so the one time when they come in with enough force temporarily,
because of the political power, not because they are some superhuman beings there that they keep the police. It's because of the social power and the political power.
It's not because the police is not powerful.
To come to kick the people. Of course they are very much
powerful. But there will be responses. And so that park is still there 1 year later, and I think this
weekend it is the 1 year birthday of this park.
This is my personal perspective. This is something that's still debated within the assembly of the park. But in my view, an important part of this is that in order to fight for the park, to protect the park, they've had, in my view, they've had to risk losing it. Not to negotiate with the city to try to make the space permanent, not do controversial things there to endanger, but to use this as a stepping stone, to always take more and take more, because if you ever stop, if you ever circle the wagons, if you ever adopt a defensive posture, then you lose it, then you will lose it. And so that's been one of the debates with the park.
And yes, this was one of the debates, because some people, they wanted to turn the park as a political existence. Like they were saying that the assembly of the park, it has to decide what is happening in the park, because it's an occupied space, okay? And also to come all together, the people that they participate in the creation of the park, and to produce a political existence, And most of the other people, like the Void Network Logic and also many other people, they had the different opinion that, we create the park, we participate in the assembly like we create, means all the people, all these thousands of people, they participate. We create the park, we participate in the assembly as more possible as we need, as we can. And the assembly, it is like advisory and to offer help. It is not like to decide what will happen and what not, It is like to advise the people that okay, this you have to be careful for this and that and that and that thing when you use the park for to make an event, for example, because many events are taking place there. Okay, and also I like to make the people as more possible shelf. I mean, the assembly exists there to be included, like welcoming all the people inside the city, around the city, the groups, the different collectives, the affinity groups, to feel that they can make something there, and also to help them, you know, and of course to take care of the park. They like to make it better and better for the constructions, but not to be as a specific political existence to make a political announcements that the park believes like that. No, the park is a public space, you know. It's like for everybody. It's open. Everybody coming and doing whatever, and they believe whatever.
So, do you
This was a critical point for the park, you know. How you make the assembly open.
Do you have any other questions?
That started as a dirt lot, and then people just organized and created a park out of the dirt lot, the empty dirt lot, like we have all those places on it. I mean, if I had a question, I would ask you guys specifically what you wanted to leave in our culture, like to, you know, because I feel like we hear a lot of talk about the organizing. I mean, there's different tactics and such, but like a lot of it seems like culturally enabled, culturally based, you know, and like I feel like I'm more interested in Greek culture now, maybe like the music or the art that's happening in the city of Athens, but like specifically if you wanted to, you know, like lay something on our culture, like to take away, I mean, what would that be?
Like I can say, you know, like that. I mean, the important thing is to understand that the Greek insurrection is culturally and historically situated. Absolutely. In this way, the thing that we have to share with you and we have to say to you, it is that we really believe that there is existing cultural and historical circumstances and powers inside the American society that can bring insurrection. We don't come to bring exotic gifts from our lands to you. The gifts you have in your land, for sure. You have to dig in your land to find them, you know. And this is the most important thing that we know. I mean, we came so far away from there here just to clean the misunderstandings and the illusions, or like the romanticizing of our struggle, you know. And the only thing that we can say is that you have to search deep into your history and also to understand deeply your society. Because this we try to share with you all night tonight, you know. What is the techniques, the strategies, and the methods that we use to understand our own society? To understand our own society, to criticize our own society, and to attack to this misery, to the feeling that we cannot do it, you know, that the things they are like that the police is so powerful, that the state will never shelf us, but they will fuck us forever, that the banks, it is like for to obey, and all life it is to give back money to the bank, you know. All this is a normality. To fight against the normality. This is our work, okay? And we believe that when you understand your society, when you put questions to your society and you have your ears open to understand what's happening and what's the problems of the people, you know, then you communicate. And if you publicize, because to publicize, to be public, to have a face, to make public outside in the streets. The streets, I mean, there is a slogan, I mean, we can share some slogans. Like in Greece, we have these slogans that it says, consciousness born on the streets. It's not born in your house, in your private life, you know. Like there is this word idiotis, that means private, individual. This one that he speaks only about his individual problems. But the name is idiotis, but it turned into English into idiot. The word idiot comes from this Greek word idiotis, that means this one individual that cares only for his individual problem. Because it is a point, idiotis, the idiot. Yeah, this one is small, limited, but doesn't understand all the problems of the others. And also, like another thing is this, that, I mean, according to our logic, we don't see any capitalistic reward at the end of our times. You know, like if we allow capitalism to continue, it's going to be like the end of the humankind anyway, like the end of the humanity. So to revolve. mean, peace, we say, revolt, arise.
And me and Tasos traveled to the States to share our dream to eliminate capitalism, of course. But also, every time that we do this presentation, we think that this is a time for all of us to open our horizons, to understand and realize better our political standpoint. And that means that when we realize our political standpoint, we became more awake to use the tools that we have here. I say we as I am an American, okay? Because I would like to say you know? So, after this meeting, we'll be more awake to use the tools that exist here. These tools are, I don't know.
You don't know.
You know.
You know.
You know? And one important thing is to don't forget to focus on the specification of the cause of our struggle. I don't know if that makes sense. Don't forget on the specification of the cause and the commitment of the cause.
Yeah, and also the participation. I mean, if we have anything to say, that it is, I like it, our normal life is that when we wake up in the morning, we see in the media, the diary of the media, because the media is controlled by the anarchists in Greece. And another thing that we say in all these assemblies, in all these meetings, take back the media from the leftists. The American media from the left. This is like bullshit. I mean, come on, it's just one small punching, pam pam, and they don't come again to the assembly. You just need the technician to take care of it. You know, one moment. Like our normal life, it is that we wake up in the morning and we see the diary of the media. In what assembly we're gonna take part in the afternoon? You understand? Every day you do something. I mean, you do the movement. That you are not something else do. You do whatever you do, and nobody can enforce you or can say to you that this that you do it is wrong, and there is something other that is better or more proper or more revolutionary.
Yeah, for them maybe it's more revolutionary, but
who cares?
Yeah.
Like I mean. Yes, I mean, you understand? I mean, for you, it can be revolutionary, this kind of practice, okay? For me, something different. The important thing is how much we fight, how much we put in practice, and how much we don't become viewers of our own movement, like that someone else will do, and we will stay here drinking beers, looking this, reading in the magazine the amazing actions, the anarchist magazine. I mean, you don't become anarchist when you read an anarchist magazine. It is when you write it the fucking thing. When you publish your own.
I was wondering, like in Iceland right now, right? They just voted 93% against the whole banks, against the bailout, right? Like Greece, they say Germany and France or some other countries will get the back of Greece. Whatever problems they have, we cover it. Like if they cover your problems, and then your population, you think your population will vote in rebellion not to pay back those debts to the people who try to pretend to bail you out. You know, I go to Europe and I do intermediate collective, and everywhere I go, I was like, I felt like at home with every intermediate collective. We organized a trip back from space there.
Can you say simply like to understand?
Vote in Iceland. You know, Iceland, the banks from
vote.
England.
Vote. What means? Like to vote in the election?
Yeah, or someone. If they put it before a referendum and said, "Do you want Iceland people want to pay those banks in England and Netherlands back?" And they said, "Hell no." They said 93%. Absolutely not.
Okay, in Greece they will never do this election. This kind of election.
That starts an insurrection in Iceland. Maybe that means like everybody in the population says, "Fuck the banks." The banks are the problem. The profit motive is the thing we're after to stop.
You know, I mean, we can say that it is. I mean, all the movement. I mean, you know, because in Greece we don't call the anarchist movement as movement. Okay? We don't use this word. We call it like anarchist space. That means that every different star has its own sign. You know, it's not like a movement altogether. It's like different analysis. But like all the people usually slowly they prepare the general social insurrection in this. I don't know if it's gonna happen.
the banks do, like, I mean, if your banks are, you're the first one to go if they're going to.
Yeah.
We
This
are
thing.
too. I mean, we're
Yeah. I mean, there are some basic things, you know, like to stop the production for some weeks at least, you know, and also to stop to pay back the loans.
So in South America, they take back their factories too. Like they're saying, we can run these factories with no bosses.
Unfortunately, because we don't have so many factories like we have in Argentina, you know, it's everything services and tourism. And we don't have factories, and that's why we have so fucked up economy, because we don't produce anything seriously. And we don't sell, we don't export so many things anymore. We have like these boats, you know, and services and tourism, and all these things. But just to say that, I mean, for us, December 2008 was a trailer, an introduction to the society. It was like, take a look how it looks like, and prepare for the general social insurrection. The general social insurrection needs to turn off the production, to stop for some weeks the general strike. Yeah, the national general strike to take to be for many weeks. Now the Greeks, they have some serious attack to the syndicalist mentality, to the control of the workers from the syndicalist organization, from the reformists, you know, the governmental syndicalism, you know. And it seems that it starts slowly to, I mean, there is this struggle anyway the last 10 years, preparing this. The last 10 years, this grassroots syndicalism, base syndicalism, that it starts, you know, like to say to the workers, don't be controlled anymore. Wild strikes, many week strikes, let's make it. Is it gonna happen? I hope it will not happen until I go back. because we even thought sometimes, you know. Because it is like that, you know, like you prepare, and you don't know when it blossoms, when you make flower, when it comes the fruit. It is like this, you know, everybody working like an ant, you know, but you don't know when collapse.
It's all about faith. You got faith in the currency. When people lose that faith, and they say a second crash when it comes soon.
Yeah.
So we have to. We should stop soon. Formally, we'll stop soon. I mean, like, you know, like Tasos mentioned over there, the attention span is much longer. Same thing in Barcelona. So we're prepared to go all night. But maybe we'll come to a formal close after one more
but we have to
question.
be sure that you don't have any other question. I mean, if you have some serious question, I mean, this is very important for us, you know, before we close. To see if there are something that we didn't say good, and you like maybe some misunderstanding or something.
But even after we stop formally, we'll still be here. So please come up to us and keep talking with us.
If we get out, thank you, Tasos, Sissy, and Peter. This is a really good evening. They're going to Flagstaff tomorrow, then LA, San Francisco, a lot of miles ahead of them. So we're going to pass the hat. If people can throw in any money for gas to help them go along spreading the destruction of Western civilization, that would be a positive thing. Secondly, over on this table over here, Peter has some materials, including a couple books by Gabriel, who was banned, who I believe you're selling for Gabriel, who was denied entry to the United States. His new book, Anarchy Works, is over there. Anonymous Protects the State. I think a couple things that are free.
Yeah.
And also a benefit CD for the Moscow Anarchist Black Cross. As some people know, in Moscow, there's been vicious, continuous attacks by fascist, right-wing fucking pieces of shit on anarchists and anti-fascists there. And that CD, when sold, benefits the Anarchist Black Cross, which does prisoner support for our comrades on the other side of the planet. So I think that's it. And also, if you have any questions, anything not clarified, whatever, feel free. We're all here to talk still. So
Somebody please, anyone. I definitely got more. Anyone else want to raise a few questions? Because I'll keep it up.
I just want to say that was fucking inspiring. Thanks to the folks of the Phoenix Task Force Council for organizing this.
Thank you.
Is there any alliance with the cops as like working class, or are the cops just seen as like?
Oh, these are not words.
We have a slogan that we say that the policemen are not class war. No, they are not. Wait a moment. The cops, they are not children of the workers. They are the dogs of the bosses.
The dogs of the bosses.
Yes, and even if they are the children of the workers, they are the dogs of the bosses.